incident there, so he went back to it in that second half where he turned down some shots because he was reluctant to shoot the basketball. And this is, a team on the verge of going down 0-3 that all of a sudden they see the game tightening up. And when that leader, Lowry with the ball in his hand, who can attack the rim and was making threes tonight, when he's gone, somebody's got to step up.
Here's Coach Nurse, who did not change his starting lineup for Game 3.
On a Fred in a row, 20 minutes on a Mark in a row at the end. What do you just say about those kind of players?
Well, I think just in general, Doug, we played with a much tougher mindset, right? And I thought we were kind of gritty, and we didn't really have much choice there. Those guys had to roll those minutes, and they kept on playing and fighting and doing everything they could to keep us in the game and make plays.
Mike Ganter on the right.
Nick, back here. Before the game, obviously, a lot of people were thinking you were going to make some changes, and you kind of hinted that you might make some. Everybody seemed to be of the opinion that it was going to be personnel changes. What made you stick with what you had?
Well, I said lineup changes. I didn't say starting lineup changes. So we played a lot of different lineups tonight, and we changed at least 3, if not 4, of the matchups to start the game. So, and then, we brought Norm in early and Serge in early, and we went big. We never did get to really small, but we were playing, quite a lot of different lineups because of foul trouble and double overtime and all that stuff. So I think some of those changes were pretty good to us. But again, we just played a lot tougher, man. We were up guarding, and we were physical, and we were ready to play tonight.
Eric Corrine, The Athletic, to your left. A lot of questions that are all basically about Kawhi here. He seemed like he was favoring his leg at the beginning. Do you have any update on that? And what can you say about both his defense on Giannis and the way he defended all game, basically?
Yeah, I think first of all, his defense was probably the biggest key of the game, right? I think he made not only did he just play good, right, but he made some huge plays with some steals and ripaways and breakaways that were, offense was hard to come by there for both teams for a while. And anytime you can get a steal and a breakout, it's like, a huge momentum play. But yeah, he was good. I think he's okay. That was a lot of minutes, but I think he's okay.
Over on the right.
Dan Weinke with the Los Angeles Times. Along those lines, he shatters his kind of career high in minutes tonight by I think 7 or 8 minutes. How tired was he down the game? It looked like every time he could get a blow to the bench, he was taking advantage of it.
Yeah, there was only one time when he looked really, really tired for me. We had a timeout, and I asked him if he wanted a quick one. I can't quite remember when. It seems like it was midway through, I think the fourth, with about 6 or 5 something to go in the fourth, and he said he was good, and then we kind of decided that if Giannis came back out on the floor, he'd stay in, and if Giannis stayed out, he'd take a little break. But Giannis came back in, so he said, I'm ready to roll.
Coach John Schumann.
He's probably pretty tired right now, though. Pretty tired.
Defending Giannis is a 5-man job. Is it any less of a 5-man job if Leonard is the primary defender there, like he was tonight?
No, it is. It's a team. It's a team deal with him, right? But again, I thought. Listen, Kawhi did a great job. You guys watched the game. He was up and not again giving him quite as much runway to get flying off of. But so were the other guys that ended up on him in a switch or different parts of the game. They were all a little bit more locked in. Again, we took steps forward to get physical. The other night we were backing away from everything.
Nick, Steve Simmons, Toronto Sun. Considering what you went through all season, not knowing when he was going to play, how much he was going to play, how much you were going to play him, the whole load management thing, can you put into perspective what tonight was?
Well, I think Steve is like, it never during the season bothered me one bit, right? I just And we started with a plan that we thought was really sensible because he hadn't played in like a year or something like that, or played very little, right, in a whole season beforehand. So we trimmed his minutes, we trimmed his games, we left him out of back-to-backs, and that was only kind of the plan at the beginning. And then we were doing okay and picking off some wins, et cetera. So we were maybe able to load manage more than we were originally planning, and it seemed to be going good, and we go from there. But I mean, you guys have heard his famous line that he said these first 82 games are just practice. And I thought we were going to see another gear out of this guy, and I think the load management and all that kind of stuff helped, and we'll see.
Coach Steve Brotherston, Pro B-Ball. We saw through the Philadelphia series a lot of games with low shooting percentages, more grit and grind than anything else. Is that the team's identity that you formed in the playoffs? Well,
it looks like it is, right? I'm not so sure that's who we were a lot of the season, right? We were kind of spraying and shooting well, and I think we were the number one three-point shooting team in the league after the Gasol trade and stuff. I still think we're creating a lot of good shots. I'm still hoping some more of them go in. I think they will. But we are pretty gritty on D. So we are playing. I mean, when we played it here for 2 of the 3 games, our defense has been darn good, and that gives you a chance no matter how well you shoot it. I think we turned it over a lot in the second half, and that hurts your defense, right? You just don't. There's no defense for that. So we're gonna have to do a little better job taking care of the ball if we want to give our defense a chance.
Last question.
Nick, to your left, Reed Forgrave with CBS Sports. You spoke before the game about being aggressive, especially on their rim protectors, their long rim protectors. Is that more just a mentality, or is that a schematic thing for you? Well,
I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, I think you don't really have. You always. I always say offense is about creating space, and if there's certain areas of the floor that are crowded, you got to move to the free areas, and with Lopez in the paint.
Thank you.
A lot. When Lopez in the paint, a lot. Rovin, you in a hurry?
What?
All right. You got to go to the move to the open space and take advantage of it. And tonight, again, I think our mentality was just better tonight. Our feet are ready, our hands are ready, and like you said, our mentality was a little bit better to go ahead and pull the trigger. Good. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
You ready, Rovin?
Mike Fratello can tell you never interrupt the coach at a post-game press conference. Isn't that right, Czar?
That's exactly right.
All right, highlights of the Game 3 double overtime victory for the Raptors. And here's where it all began in terms of the conversation about one of the legs of Kawhi Leonard. And I don't know, Smitty, if he tweaked something on the liftoff, on the landing. What do you see there?
You're not sure. I think more on maybe it could have been on the plant or the takeoff, but you can see he was wincing and not sure what it might be. Looked like he was clutching somewhere down the lower area, but don't want to speculate.
Marcus Gasol off to a very good start, spinning here on Ilyasova and a sick pass to Siakam and one. Mirotic wants the travel, no dice. Toronto takes a 16-5 lead. Then Gasol finds Norman Powell, and Czar, he was huge.
Not only was he finding people, he went down in the low post for a while tonight, which caused some problems and created shots for teammates.
At the end of the first quarter, the only man in double figures was him, Norman Powell, with 10. Finished the game with 19.
Huge.
Giannis Antetokounmpo, Euro-stepping or traveling?
7-footer with the slow Euro step.
Look at Jeremy Lin is demonstrating that he thought it was a travel. What do you guys think? Bucket or travel?
I thought it was a travel.
That's a travel. The 3 steps and no dribbles, that's a travel.
Here's Kyle Lowry, top of the key, right between your eyes. And then Kawhi Leonard, the crossover. He knocks down Brogdon and Giannis. That's a Smitty moment.
Yeah, a little bowling ball action on that one.
Toronto led 58-51 at halftime with a long way to go.
Don't give him the Smitty. Yep. Okay, Chris Melton.
I mean, he had the bucket at the end of regulation to tie it, but that was sweet. And then Bledsoe to Malcolm Brogdon. So clutch.
Brogdon, a terrific shooter, and from the beginning of the game, he came in and was very productive for them.
The best buck on the court was George Hill. We talked about it watching the game. You see Kawhi looking on there. We go to the fourth quarter after a Giannis turnover. Van Vliet get it to Kawhi in number 2. stops on a dime and cans
Nice
it free.
job in being able to extend his range and being able to have confidence of freezing the defense and knocking that one down.
5 minutes to go.
Brook Lopez.
We get an and one from Brook Lopez. He made the free throw. And then
That was a great cut, Coach.
Great cut because of overloading on one side of the floor. Instead of staying in the spot-up area, he took the seam, dove right through there for it.
George Hill tied it at 88. Kawhi Leonard unties it at 93-91. Then Brogdon driving. He quick shots it over Kawhi Leonard. Made it a 2-point game. Major issues for Pascal Siakam down the stretch. Misses 2 crucial free throws. He was 1 of 4 from the free throw line in the gut of the game there at the end of regulation. And a big reason why this game went to overtime. Middleton driving baseline. Blocked by Danny Green. Got it back. Scores to tie it at 96. 2.2 to go. And then Smitty, what was this?
Yeah, I didn't like the execution on that play. No screen and rolls for anybody and no picks to get your best player to basketball.
No screens at all.
Nope.
So Giannis at the free throw line with the miss, the tap out. And then Giannis to George Hill. And Coach Bud had just taken Eric Bledsoe out. George Hill comes in. Big three to tie the game at 99. And then Kawhi Leonard, step back. Siakam fights for the rebound. And he scores. Big buckets are.
And big footwork that time. Youngster got up there with those long arms, showed it, came back through, got the layup.
Milwaukee tied the game on free throws. Kawhi with a chance to win it at the end of overtime. And Drake is bumming. We go to double overtime. And Smitty, did Giannis Antetokounmpo deserve a foul call on that?
He was moving. I thought the referees might have said it was a push-off by Siakam, but it was a tough call. They made the call, and he fouled out on that play. And that's huge. Look at Kawhi being able to finish.
And then Kawhi Leonard with the major steal here on the miscommunication between Middleton and Brogdon. He gets the run-out lay-in, and Drake is whoa. Was he waving bye-bye to the Bucks, a la Lillard to the Thunder at the end of that series?
Somebody was waving bye-bye.
But they're down 2-1 in the series.
It's all right, he won this one.
118 to 112. The Raptors win a classic. Leonard with 36, 8 of them in double overtime. George Hill leads the Bucks with 24 points and 7 boards. Here's Coach Bud at the podium.
Tough game. Feel like we gave ourselves several chances. We weren't able to get over the hump. Give them credit. As a group, they played well. A couple guys really stepped up for them. So I think there's lots of opportunity for us to look and look at how we can get better collectively, how we can be better going into Game 4. So, I think we look forward to that.
Eric Name, The Athletic, on your left, bud.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm just curious, how do you think their change in matchups, obviously, they kind of switched their defensive assignments around, Kawhi on Giannis. How do you think that affected you guys?
Well, obviously, we didn't have a very good offensive game, so I think you should always give them some credit for, their defense and whether it be just the matchups or their defense in general. They were active, and I think we've got to make, when we have good opportunities, you got to make them, and we didn't probably make enough of our good ones, and I think we'll be better in Game 4. Giannis, everybody, so. Looking at the film, I'll probably have a better to be able to answer that better.
Matt Velasquez, Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. When it comes to Giannis in particular, what do you think it was that made things so difficult for him to get going?
Well, they're double teaming him a lot. They're sending a lot of people, a lot of bodies at him, and I would say what he's done all year. And my guess is what he did today is he's sharing the ball, he's making the right read, he's making the pass. And we probably got to shoot it a little bit better. We got to drive it a little bit better. Maybe we can create more space for him. We'll look at all those things. But, I think when somebody's committed to getting the ball out of his hands, we feel great about the shooting around him and the players around him. And hopefully we can make teams pay. And, we were right on the cusp of winning a game when we didn't play that well.
Stephen Lung, over here to your left. Stephen Lung, Sportsnet. Coach, you guys had numerous opportunities, I guess, to kind of take the lead, take control down the stretch during the 2 overtimes and in the fourth quarter. So would you define when Kyle Lowry fouled out kind of one of your, maybe your best opportunity to ultimately take control of the game?
I mean, we were just scrapping and doing everything we can to be 2, 4, 6 down. We were playing from a deficit all night, so I don't, whether Kyle Lowry was on the court or anybody was on the court, I don't know that we really had a chance to take control of the game per se. We had a couple opportunities where maybe we could go up 2 and different things like that. But we were scrapping from behind the whole game, and we didn't just make enough plays when we needed to. And that's how it goes.
Kane Pittman with the pick and roll, bud. Chris Middleton's got such a difficult job defending Kawhi, and again tonight he was 11 for 25. But offensively, is there how much do you think that is taken out of him on the offensive end? And is there a way you can try to get him some easy looks or get him going?
Yeah, no doubt. Chris has got his hands full. It's a tough cover. I think he's so locked in defensively. The thing we'll bounce he and Malcolm back and forth between guarding Leonard. So hopefully, Chris isn't bearing the entire brunt of that. And then offensively, again, like I said, I think defensively they're doing some things well. Give them credit. And occasionally Chris or just us in general, we've got to make some more open looks when we get them, because they're going to make it as tough as they can on Chris.
Eric named The Athletic, but you see George have that big game off the bench, Eric struggling a little bit. Is there anything Eric can take from the way that George is attacking or anything like that to kind of get himself going?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're such good friends. They spend so much time together, away from the court. And I think Bled is always, when George plays well, he's like his biggest fan. And I think, I think George is playing with a lot of aggressiveness. Like you said, he's playing with a lot of force and attacking. And I think when Bled does those things, that's when he's at his best. And so, I think just like the entire group, I think Bled will be better on Game 4, and got a lot of confidence.
Coach, right here. Louis Atzman, Raptors Republic. Sort of a follow-up to a previous thing. Giannis finished with 7 free throw attempts, 0 entering the fourth. Seemed like a lot of physicality. Did you think that had anything to do with Leonard's defense, or was it just a fluke in the game?
No, I mean, we always give credit to our opponent. I think whether it be Leonard or whoever else it was, or the guys that were coming to double team him, they were good tonight. Feels like, Giannis could get to the free throw line more. You mentioned the physicality in your question that, at some point those should be rewarded with some free throws, but they weren't tonight. And so Giannis is going to have to, go with more force, play harder, or, and I don't want to say smarter, because my guess is we'll look at the film and Giannis made a lot of great passes, made a lot of great decisions. But as far as getting to the free throw line, he may have to play with more force.
Eric, last one. Coach at the back here, Eric Smith, Sportsnet. First 2 games, it seemed like you guys did a pretty good job of containing Marc Gasol, and he really struggled even after the last game, sort of taking the blame in many senses. Seeing a couple shots go down early, do you think that was what got him going? Did he do anything different tonight that you guys couldn't keep up? He was draining shots and making plays, moving the ball. What did you see from Gasol?
He's a pro. He's a great player. I'm sure, him taking responsibility, it's never one guy's, but it just speaks to his character, and he came out and had a great game tonight. He's a big reason why they were able to win. So can we track him a little bit better? I'm sure we can. Hopefully limit some of his looks, but we're doing a lot of things to limit guys, and at some point, players are going to get shots, and they're going to make them or miss them. And tonight, Marc was good. He made a lot of shots, and hopefully we can be better on him Game 4. All right, thanks.
Coach Bud with a lot of praise for the opponent, the Toronto Raptors. They beat the Bucks in double overtime, and it is now a 2-1 series. Pascal Siakam will be at the podium in moments, so stick around. This is Game Time.